My name is Andrew Desjardins. Hockey is my passion. This was me 2 years ago, as far as anyone can be from playing hockey. But now I'm back. This is my story. I was born with a health challenge called cystic fibrosis. I call it a challenge because it's something I was supposed to overcome. It wasn't something I was supposed to become. People don't understand that sometimes their challenges become who they are and they don't overcome them. Throughout my life, I've lived with cystic fibrosis, but it never stopped me. It never held me back. I started playing hockey when I was 7 years old, and it's become my passion ever since. I'm now 34 years old, and it's taken me a while to get where I am. A lot of challenges have come up, but now I'm doing well. Cystic fibrosis is a disease that ultimately affects your capacity to breathe. It's a genetic disease. You're born with it. It's not something you can pick up from someone else. And it's the #1 genetic killer of children in this world. The average people live to is about 33, 34 years old. I was 32 when I had my lung transplant. In fact, I got a liver too. I had a triple organ transplant.
So Andrew was born with cystic fibrosis and was diagnosed as a young child with cystic fibrosis, where his lungs continued to get damaged, progressively worse throughout his life. So in cystic fibrosis, there's problems with the lung handling salt and water, where the lungs get too dry, and the patients like Andrew get recurrent infections. And usually by the time that they reach their teenagers' years, they develop really end-stage lung disease, depending on the type of lung disease. And for Andrew, he really had infections over and over the last more than a decade prior to coming here to see us.
When I was 3 years old, one of the things people with cystic fibrosis are prone to is dehydration. And at one point, I got so dehydrated that my skin turned blue due to lack of oxygen and water, and the top of my head caved in, because when you're a child, the last bone to form in your skull is the occipital plate, and it hadn't formed, so I was in dire need of water. So my dad rushed me to the hospital. I got scars on my legs and my ankles and my neck because they did what are called cut downs, and they put needles in my neck, my legs, my ankles, and the top of my head, and they basically pumped me full of fluid. Back in the late 70s, that's how they did things in those cases, I guess. So before I had my transplant, one of the many times I got extremely sick, I went into the hospital and my blood oxygen levels went down really low. They had to put me on a ventilator, which is basically a machine that breathes for you. And they put me into a coma, a medically induced coma. They kept me under until my body could heal. And at one point they said, there's nothing more we can do for him, to my parents and my friends. We don't think he's gonna make it. Right after that, someone came in and prayed for me, and I kind of turned around instantly. And I think that was just another faithful step in my process and my journey. It shows that, you know, I think God was there with me through all this.